on the special effects team, who between them won 6 Oscars for their efforts. But one man in particular has been praised for his individual technical achievements on the film. His name is Zoran Perisic, and he's the man who literally got Superman off the ground. Patty Coldwell reports.
Certainly couldn't see the wires, but if our all-American hero racing through the cosmos to save us from the super villains of Krypton isn't your idea of a good movie, you certainly can't deny the success of the film at the box office, where it made an estimated and staggering $250 million. And that success, apart from the attractive and very muscular Christopher Reeve, has been put down to the very special effects. The publicity machine tells you, "You'll believe a man can fly." Well, I'm here at Pinewood Studios to reveal for the very first time exactly how they did it. The first 18 months of filming were riddled with problems. Even at the biggest studio in the world, using every special effects method, they just couldn't get it right. One system, which superimposes the subject onto a blue backing, was hardly ideal. Superman's famous blue long johns would have just faded into the background, leaving his head, underpants and boots to fly about the cosmos. The producers were beginning to sweat. Until they called in former 2001 special effects man, Zoran Perisic. He claimed that his brand new invention, Zoptic, could make Superman fly without wires and by hardly moving a muscle. They gave him just 6 weeks to prove it, but it was so successful that Zoran received the special award for creating the Superman we know today.
Officer! Good evening, Officer Mooney. Well, they say confession's good for the soul. I'd listen to this man. Take him away.
Zoptic is a complicated camera and projector system mounted on a metal flying rig. So, for the technically minded, this is the expert's explanation.
This is the heart of the Zoptic system. It consists of a small projector, which is light and easily maneuverable. The background picture, like for example New York skyline, is projected from here. It goes through a zoom lens via a two-way mirror onto a front projection screen. The artist, in this case Superman, stands in front of the front projection screen, and the composite picture of the background and the foreground is seen by the camera lens, which is an identical type of lens as the projection lens. The two lenses are synchronized in such a way that when you project a wide picture, the camera also picks up a wide picture, and then when you reduce that picture during a zoom in, the camera lens follows that identically. The result is that Superman appears to fly towards the camera, whilst the background remains unchanged. This flying rig was built specifically to exploit the Zoptic system to its best advantage. It can be used on the floor in this way, or it can be suspended from the ceiling. In fact, during the shooting of Superman 2, we had it suspended on a telescopic arm, which enables it to go up and down. It can also be positioned anywhere in the studio, or down the length or the width of the studio. It can pan and tilt very, very easily. And it can also rotate 360 degrees. Now this means that Superman, for example, can appear to be spinning around as he comes towards the camera, whilst in reality he's not doing anything at all, and the whole thing is done by the camera and the projector revolving around. Because of the great maneuverability of the equipment, it is sometimes absolutely essential to have it operated remotely, and this is done by this set of equipment here. We can also record the entire movement onto a computer and play it back exactly for every take. We can also make certain modifications in between as is necessary. Now, because the effect can only be seen through the film camera, it is essential to have a television camera attached to it so that everybody else can see the action on the monitor. We also record every take so that we can later choose the one that we want to be printed.
So it's the camera and not the actor that does all the work. Because the camera and projector are moving in unison, the zoom lens on the camera can make Superman move up and down, backwards and forwards, anything you like, so it always looks right. And that's something they haven't been able to do before.
The basic rule in front projection is to try and keep the person, Superman or whatever, as close to the front projection screen as possible, because that way you avoid the problems of fringing. That's, you know, you've seen this very often, I'm sure, in television and in films in general, where you have a nasty black line all around the figure, which destroys the illusion that it's actually a real thing happening at the time. Now, the moment, if you saw that line in Superman, you would not believe that he was actually flying, that he was part of that background. So this is best accomplished by using a pole through the screen in this way, and Superman is suspended at the end of that pole. But because you use this approach now, you don't have to worry about wires or anything. Everything is perfectly clear. You can afford to light him and make him look as though he's part of that background. But what you cannot do is make him come closer to the camera, because, I mean, that would be physically very, very difficult to do. And this is where Zoptic comes in. He still remains in exactly the same position, but he appears as though he comes close to the camera, and then it all go away from the camera.
Well, if that's as clear as mud, one thing's for certain. There's a lot of hanging around. Christopher Reeve was suspended in front of this enormous screen for about 5 months to get the flying sequences right. But it was worth it. The screen, 400 times more reflective than normal, and the Zoptic system took Superman into the 5th dimension. Now you know how it's done. Take another look.
Excuse me.
That's a bad outfit. Whoa.
Okay, Chrysler, move these people out. Come on, look up there.
What the hell's that?
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me? Who's got you?
Gentlemen, this man needs help. Well, I certainly hope this little incident hasn't put you off flying, miss.
Did Christopher Reeve as Superman just have to stand there on the set in the middle of the screen?
Yes,
With this new
only if
system.
he was standing, he wouldn't look as though he was flying. So in fact, he's lying down in a mold, and the mold is suspended at the end of a pole, which is pushed through the front projection screen. The clothes and everything go over this mold. And in fact, part of the trick is to position the molds in such a way that you can never tell where the mold is. And because of the flexibility of the camera, because you can shoot upside down and all that sort of thing, very often he's really upside down. So if you're looking for the mold, you can't see it because it's in the wrong place, really. It's under the cloak or it's somewhere else, you know, and the whole trick is really not to be able to find the mold.
Did Christopher Reeve find it difficult to work with this apparatus?
I should think so, although he never complained, actually. He's been very, very good. The best of all the people we've had in the molds. Mind you, he has been in it longest. And he is very, very good, very athletic, and he can take up the posture. And he also takes a very, very great interest in the actual art of flying. I mean, he really believes that he flies. When he's up there, you know, if you say something like, are you sure you want to move your arm down this way, or how about doing this thing or the other, and you say, well, I would never do that. I mean, I don't fly that way. I fly this way. He takes up a posture which is absolutely perfect.
Some would say they'd much prefer not to know about how things are achieved technically.
Even during the shooting of Superman 2, very, very few people were allowed on the flying unit stage. But I don't believe you should hide this. I mean, Dick Donner said that it's like telling children that Father Christmas doesn't exist. But I don't know. I think you can still believe in fantasy without you know, having to believe that Father Christmas is real. You can still enjoy Christmas.
Well, despite the money and the computers and the trickery of the movie moguls, you know, they don't always get it right. When the Wire's showing this business, they really show.